All right, how y'all doing? Y'all doing good? I'm back. I said I was gonna get these videos out. All right, so this video is gonna be particularly on how I negotiate contracts. Okay, so what I do is I formulate where the hell do I want to go to? Do I want to go to California? Do I go to New York? Do I go to Pennsylvania? Do I go to Texas or whatever? And it's also based on the need. And during that time when I was applying for jobs, the need was in California. Okay. So for back in the day, like last year when I started as an LPN, I've been getting a lot of travel offers, but I felt at the time that LPNs were essentially being lowballed in the pay department. Like in COVID, at the peak of COVID last year in March, LPNs were at the bottom of the total pole when it came to pay. So I was not leaving my state for the amount that they were giving. Like I'm telling you, the people who were getting paid as they should was the RNs. Then it was the CNAs. Then it was the LPNs. I promise you, like I would look at all those rates. The CNAs were rolling in dough, okay? Rolling in dough. So I stayed home. So what I did was I gained experience. As a nurse, you need experience before you go out in the travel world. Depending on your especially if you was working in ICU and stuff like that, you needed heavy experience, okay? So me, I told myself, I became a charge nurse, working at a nursing home. I have clinic experience doing flu shots, running the clinic, administrative positions. I did a long-term acute care position as a 3-month contract here. I have numerous amount of jobs. Granted, I couldn't keep a job because I didn't want to, and the positions never served me no purpose. I had the experience. And 2, I had great references. So like I said, I have charge nurses, and I also have a doctor that has referenced me before. So like I said, I get in good, and I sold myself. So I started getting travel offers really at 9 months as an LPN, new graduate LPN. I did not wait 1 year or 2 years to start applying for jobs, okay? I knew what I was good at. I knew what my credentials would be accepted in, and I went forward. I had many denials, but I had many offers. You see how that is? So when it comes to traveling and you are worried about somebody denying you about getting a job and stuff like that, you have to have the credentials. You have to have the experience. That's how it is. And you're going to have a lot of people telling you no. And it won't be necessarily the agency. It will be the hospital saying no. It's for your own good. Don't get on that floor and you don't have no experience, okay? So that's what happened. After I did that LTAC experience, you can go back and look at my old video about how I felt as being a nurse and my LTAC experience. I did a lot of acute care and I did a lot of overflow ICU work, okay? A lot of those patients needed to be definitely back at the hospital in the ICU, but they were elderly, older, or they might have been young, but they were critical care patients, okay? So at 9 months, I said, hey, I need to get some of this COVID money. I needed to get this COVID money, okay? So I had a friend that I was working with on the LTAC unit. She told me how she did it because she was out in New York and she was working at a unit. I'm talking about homegirl was been rolling in dough since March. And so she told me how to do it, how to go look for a recruiter, all the 9, okay? So once I got in, I was looking for jobs. The need was actually in California, okay? So California, we know how that is. Everything is high. When you think of California, think of the taxes at 40 to 41% ripped from your check. Think of that, okay? So when you go to California and nurses are telling you that they are exempt, they are exempt for a reason, because what California is doing is basically robbery, in my opinion. Robbery. 40 to 41% out of people's checks. Okay? How do you expect to survive in the state of California when you are taking half of somebody's checks? Okay? So in December, I had an offer for the float pool. I did not take the position. They originally were paying LPNs in California, I think it was $35. Another one came up and it was $4,500. But I didn't take it because I was scared. Like, I never done a prison before. Like, I know myself. I don't want to be going in there fighting with a prisoner. I don't know how it works, you know? So he was like, it's not going to be nothing like that. You're passing pills, you're in the infirmary, or you might not even be in the prison flow pool. The prison themselves, it might be somewhere else that is needed. So I passed on that originally in December. I should never done that. I could have been making money since December, but I was just touching my gut. And then January rolled around. I was still doing agency. And he called me in the middle of the night, and he was like, listen, they have another flow pool going on, and it's more than the last one that I quoted you, and it was over 5K, 5 bands. And he said, you will be making more than majority of the LPNs in that state of California. And I was like, I can't miss out on this opportunity. I can't. Like, that's a lot of money on the line. So I went for it. I had him put in my application. Like I said, 1, I sold myself. I had the experience. 2, I had all my credentialing paperwork done. I had physical papers done before I even applied for this job. I had my TB, flu vaccines, everything, shot records. I had it all on my phone. All I did was put all my credentials in an album in my phone, and I just emailed it to him. I had it all together. Do not wait for a recruiter to tell you that, oh, we need to get this from you, or you need to get titers or something like that. You need to be in charge of that and have that all ready, because when they tell you they need you to go in 24 to 72 hours, they're not waiting on somebody to get that paperwork. And that's when, people are kind of upset because they can't get all these travel jobs. You don't have all your stuff together. They need you to move. Okay? So that's what my friend was telling me. I had all this stuff together before I even had the job. Okay? They did my references. I called my references like, hey, I got somebody calling you. I need you to put me in a good reference. And that's exactly what happened. I got that stuff done in 24 hours, baby. That man called me an hour later. He said, listen, you got the job. They want you to fly out on February the 3rd. They want you to be there February 3rd for orientation in Sacramento. Okay? So this is what happened. This is what I do when it comes to pay. I tally up all my expenses back at home. Rent, food, gas, personal experience. I don't care if it was a bar of soap. I shop every weekend just for personal stuff. And, my bills, whether it be OG&E, cable, all that stuff, tally it up. I came up to at least 15 to 2 grand. Tally it up and times it by 2. That is how much you need to be making before you leave that house. So listen, if I needed $2,000 on bills, I need to be making over $4K in the state of California. Over $4K. Okay? It wasn't happening because I have to pay. I am doubling my expenses. I got to pay bills back at home, and I have to pay bills at California. And we know California is hot. So that was a deal. So how he went down was that payments, and we're going to discuss reimbursements. Payments was at $59 as my base rate. Overtime in the state of California, after 8 hours, is $88.50. Double time was $118. Okay, but they need you for 60 hours. Okay, 60 hours. So what it is, if I take a supervisor role, you get paid for that too. So make sure that's in your contract. If you take on some type of supervisor role, mine was compensated at $2.50 more. So $2.50 plus $59 per hour. That's how much I would have been making if I took a charge role. I ain't never do no charge role, okay? I'm about to do the little role that I signed up for, and that's it. I don't want to do no more than that. And granted, when I was working in a tent in Oakland, they did ask me to be a team lead, and I said, no. I just want to pull my vaccines and go on about my day, okay? So you need to have that in your contract, just in case you take a charge role. It says basically that, what else was on here? I was scheduled for 5/12s and 60 hours. And it says medical surgical from 7A to 7P. Okay? So then we're going to go into about the housing, the meals, into the incidentals. Okay? So this is something that I didn't know. There's a website called GSA.com. Type it in, GSA.com. This is a government website where it tells you how much you are entitled to as a nurse. You get relocation reimbursements to the site. You need mileage reimbursement to your next assignment, especially in the flow pool. You have to be reimbursed. On GSA.com, they will tell you how much the cent amount that you are supposed to be getting paid to go to the next site. So if they say, okay, if they say I was in Sacramento and they need me in Oakland, they had to pay me X amount of cents per mile to get me there. Reimburse me. Run me all that money. Okay? On my contract, they had to relocate me by flying. $500 reimbursement. Run me that money. And I grant you that it's more money than that on GSA.com on how much you're supposed to get you back. But you are supposed to have relocation fees. You are supposed to have mileage reimbursement fees. Okay? All of that. Untaxed money. Okay? So, housing. Let's go back to housing. My meals and incidentals was $55. And then my weekly stipend, housing stipend, was, how much was it? $96. So for my meals and incidentals per week was $385. And then my housing was $672. Okay. Now, I was weary on this amount. And you know why I was weary? Because it's the state of California. $672 plus $385, $1,057 per week total, untaxed money. Now, if I'm in Sacramento and Sacramento has a higher cost of living, I should be compensated for where I'm at. Then if you send me to Oakland is even higher. I should be compensated more than that. $672 per week. I had questions. I had major questions. And stay tuned. I'm about to tell you what the hell happened